for me, the name of the grape is not easy to pronounce, but I think Matthew will manage. We wait for him. Well, I already have the wine in my glass. You see, it's very medium yellow gold. And here Matthew is. I will let him in. Hi, Matthew.
Hello, Anne-Wies. How
Hi.
are you?
Well, good to see you. Good to see
Good.
you.
How are things over there in Romania?
Yeah, it's very hot here.
Really? What's the
I think
weather?
the weather is very good. It's about 30 degrees, I think. But
Nice.
I missed the sea. I saw a picture of the
Yeah,
That's
actually,
nice.
I can see Huar, the island where this wine is from my front porch, my balcony at the moment.
Super. Yeah, you posted a very nice picture of that. Very nice. So you have the same wine, same
I
bottle.
do. I'm opening it right now. The Savage Bogdanjusa
Bog,
2019.
how do you pronounce it?
Bogdanjusa.
Bogdanjusa.
Yes.
Okay.
That J, I think that J, well, J in Croatian is like yeah, but I think that's like a native local way they spell it on Huar because usually it doesn't have the J in there. Just so Bogdanusha.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Bogdanjusa.
so is this the first time you've tasted a wine from Huar, the island of Huar?
And I tasted this wine a long time ago, about 2 years ago at the Dutch importer, CroatianGrapes.com.
Yeah.
And it was at the Croatian embassy. It
Oh,
was
okay.
paired with cheese because they say this wine is perfect with cheese.
Not too bad.
But but perhaps you can tell a bit more about the island and
So for those of you that don't know, I mean, for on Vice's IG, my partner and I, Shireen, we wrote a book about Croatian wine called "Cracking Croatian Wine." Won a Gourmand Award actually for best beverage tourism book in the world. Um, yeah, we spend a lot of time in Croatia. Bogdanusha Croatia is filled with indigenous varieties, like about 140, although there's only about 40 to 50 are in production. A lot are in nurseries, and then more and more grapes are hitting the market every single year. Um, this is
oh,
from the. Go ahead.
Matthew, I'm sorry, it's my fault, but I didn't introduce you to
No, that's
my
okay.
viewers. Sorry,
No,
because how did you end up in Croatia? And you have
we actually we run a platform called Exotic Wine Travel, unique wine regions, countries all over the world, and we were planning on actually doing a whole book of the entire ex-Yugoslavia. But once we came to Croatia, we really liked the diversity of indigenous varieties and the amount of people that come here wanting to know about the wines every year. Croatia gets, not this year, but 15 to 17 million tourists a year. So people are coming wanting to know about the wines, and for the most part, they're getting served crappy wines in restaurants, canobas, stuff like that, because the best wines are hard to find. They're not cheap. The markups in Croatia are expensive at the restaurants, and the local market is voracious. So the best wines, you really have to seek them out, and that's why we were
okay.
inspired to write the book about the wines.
Okay, super.
Excuse me. This grape is from the island of Hvar. It's in southern Dalmatia. If The cool thing for people that want to know is in Croatia is really divided into what's happening in the coastal part, Istria and Dalmatia, and then the continental part. I mean, even the northern continental part that can make ice wine. It gets cold enough to make ice wine. There's literally you have maritime, cool continental, mild Mediterranean, true Mediterranean in a tiny country. So. Island of Hvar. Have you been on Hvar before? Have you been on
No,
Croatia?
no, no,
Okay.
no. It's on my bucket list.
Well, it's an island. Don't quote me on. Let's see on this. I don't. I'm just kind of looking on the map here. I think it's about 100 kilometers long, and it's only a couple of kilometers thick. But it's really cool. On the
Okay.
south side of the island, there's slopes that go out of the Adriatic Sea, and they go up to about 1,000 meters. Really
Well,
steep slopes. They grow a lot of Plavets Mali there. Some of the vineyards look like Douro meets Mosel meets the ocean, basically.
okay.
But Bogdanjusa has grown. Once you get over those mountains, there's plains. Actually, Croatia has Hvar has a UNESCO listed site, the oldest continuously planted vineyard and olive grove in the world, called the Stargrad Plain. The Greeks planted 2,400 years ago, I think. So this wine from here, this lovely lady, Sadic, it's a family, wife and husband. Husband makes the wine. The wife is the president of the Hvar Wine Association, actually.
Okay.
And you can't
Perfect.
find, I haven't seen this grape made anywhere else in Croatia besides the island of Hvar. That's it.
It's really from that south of Croatia. This
Yes,
grape.
and it's
Okay.
and more specifically the island. I've never seen a Bogdanjusa outside Hvar ever. When you first tasted it at the with the importer, what stood out to you? Why did you like the wine?
Well, it's really powerful, and it was with a cheese pairing. Like it fits with a lot of cheeses. But I
Yes.
didn't remember actually the taste. So now I tasted it, and I really like it. It's a very powerful wine.
And look at the alcohol. It's even for low. It's low powerful despite the low alcohol. It's only 11.5.
Yeah, 11.5. Yeah.
So people got to understand it's just tons of sun in southern Dalmatia. It's right now. We're like I said, we're nearby Hvar. I can see it. It's probably 50 kilometers from me right now, from my front porch. Uh,
Okay.
it rained yesterday, but usually it hadn't rained since a little bit in June. It's dry the whole growing season here, uh,
Yeah.
and
The climate is really a hot climate.
it's true Mediterranean with very little
Okay.
rainfall. Because obviously
Okay.
it's like you got to think of a climate almost like Sicily, basically. I mean, maybe not quite as hot, but true drought Mediterranean type climate, so the wines can get pretty high in alcohol. And Saric is one of the few producers that actually bottle a varietal Bogdanjusa. Most people use it in blends for acidity. What do you pick up when you're smelling it?
I have pear, pear melon, like and a bit of plum, but fresh yellow plum, and also some dried herbs. What do you have in the nose?
I definitely get all that quince, definitely. You get some Mediterranean like brush, sage. I mean, you gotta see the island of Hvar is dry, sage, rosemary, thyme. You're gonna see the garrigue, the French called garrigue, brush all over the place.
Okay.
What I haven't had this wine in a couple vintages. It's a little flintier than I remember.
Do you know whether the grapes had a maceration or cold soak or something? Do you know?
I think I'm not sure. I can't say this with 100%. I don't know what she does with the winemaking. And do you remember if she cold soaks? Uh, I know that there's a couple producers making skin contact wine out of this, or at least one that's really good. But I would assume that's cold soaked a little bit. That's based on the aromas.
Yeah. Okay.
This to me is, this part of Croatia, there's a lot of oyster farms. There's a lot of mussel farms. There's a couple of flat oysters that are only found in this part of Croatia. So I think this wine actually goes perfect. Her
I would love.
cellar, yeah, her
Would
cellar,
love that.
her cellar or her kanoba. It's in the blue. Kanoba is the Croatian word for basement. It's on this tiny village called Verbovska. There's a little canal going through. It's really close to the coast. I mean, if you go to the north of town, you can see the coast, basically. So, true Mediterranean island wine, unique wine.
Okay. And how big or how small is the island?
The island, I think, is about 100, approximately about 100, 120 kilometers long, and only like 3 or 4 wide. It's a long, skinny
Okay.
island.
Okay. There are a lot of islands in where you are now
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the Dalmatian part.
There's about 1,000. I think there's a
Okay.
thousand in Dalmatia actually. There's let me see. In terms of wine islands, specific islands that are known mostly for wine production, we're only talking one, two, three, four, about six or seven.
Okay.
Of course there's local wine, table wine grown on all
Hmm.
the islands, but commercial, serious wine production, we're only talking about six or seven islands.
Okay. Okay.
And each island has their own wine grapes. Did you taste any other wines from Savic, by the way?
Yeah. I was with Croatia by
Hmm.
in Roest because he's also doing the diploma, and he brought some wine, yeah, but
Ah,
I
well, you
didn't
were telling
remember
me.
them all. So
Yeah, it's
so
hard because there's
I put my
some
notes somewhere in. Yeah, and you also, but it's really interesting. Yeah.
people don't understand. It's like the Illyrians were making it's right across the Adriatic from Italy, so the Illyrians were making wine here 2,000 years ago, and there's a pretty vibrant wine culture here. The locals are very proud of their wine. Dalmatia has most of the indigenous varieties, actually. And surprisingly, for warm Mediterranean climate, I don't know about the statistics, but off the top of my head, if you're looking, I think there's more white grapes than there are red in Dalmatia.
More
Yeah,
more white. Okay.
yeah. There are some extremely. This wine is wonderful, actually. Like I said, it's one of the few varietal Bogdanjushas. But there are some really serious whites being made in the Dalmatian Islands. This is delicious. I would give this to a connoisseur for having shellfish,
Yeah.
that
So
type of stuff.
yeah,
I think it's a lot
it's
of
always
people are going to be
good to
impressed.
talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it compare to anything in Romania for you? Any of those, or even Austria? I know.
No, the white ones from Romania are more lighter and more aromatic. This really is has a lot of structure.
It's quite.
Mm.
It's quite rich. I generally like Dalmatian whites for people look for whites like Poship. Poship is probably the most popular. Gurk is an incredible grape variety. There's only 20 something hectares on the planet, and this one
Okay.
tiny island called Korčula. Uh, there's a grape called Debit, which is exciting to make sparkling or sweet in dry wines. Marastina, which is basically though it's Malvasia Bianca Lunga or Malvasia Toscana, but it can make some really nice because there's some old vines here with old vine fruit can make some really wonderful wines. And this grape, the one guy that's doing macerated Bogdanusha, the wine seems like it handles maceration fairly well.
And is there a lot of sparkling wine in Croatia? Do you know that?
A lot. Not everybody should be making sparkling wine, but everybody wants to try because
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
no nobody can to get tanks to make Charmat is super expensive, so everyone kind of tries to make homemade or kind of rustic method classical wines. But there are some high
Okay.
quality sparkling wines in Croatia. There are some very high quality sparkling wines being
Mm.
made.
Okay.
Nobody's doing coupage like champagne though, where you're holding back vintages, blending that type of stuff because
Okay.
Croatia has a high turnover. So during the season, people want the fresh whites, the sparkling wines for the tourist season very quickly.
Yeah.
So those wines get turned over pretty fast.
Yeah. Okay. Can imagine when the weather
Yes,
is nice.
people want stuff like this. So it is a problem though because I know that they struggle like the Huar producers. They definitely
Yeah.
struggle because these wines aren't cheap because people think Croatia's Central Eastern Europe land grapes are cheap. It's not the case. Dalmatian coast is spectacular, so real estate's expensive and grapes are expensive. Therefore, it's expensive to make the wines,
Yeah.
and and so that's something that they struggle with, especially because on the continental portion of the country, you can do more machine harvesting. There's more land. The wines can be cheaper, and
Hmm.
if you're selling to, if people like Hvar is a very a tourist destination. A lot of like cheap cafes and stuff like that, they're just going to sell the cheapest wine that they can get.
Yeah, okay. So you order really the wine list when you are in Croatia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And it's just one thing that turned us, excuse me, my throat's a little funny. One thing that turned us on about writing the book is the restaurant markups in Croatia for wine are ridiculous for a wine producing country. So not a lot of people get a chance to experience, some of the really, really nice wines. They're just getting poured like house wine. Sometimes it's just homemade wine in some guy's backyard type deal. And that's just unfortunate. It's not like Italy where the restaurant markup is a couple euros.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know the price of this wine actually.
What do you think?
Check, but
Just by taste, what do you think retail value is for this? Just for your assessment, what kind of quality level price are you at?
I think somewhere around 15 euros.
15? I think that's what it probably is. Once it hits the shelf, definitely probably from the importer. I think in the Netherlands, I think it's that price. I think locally, maybe from her, you can get it for under 10. But then also on the restaurant list, it becomes 20, 25, 30 for a simple white. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think it's a very nice wine. And about your book,
on Amazon,
also an ebook, or is it only
Cracking Croatian Wine on Amazon?
No,
I can send you the link, no problem. But yeah, it's we spent a long time. We spent a couple years doing the book, tasted through thousands and thousands of wines, picked out the best producers, best wines, broke it down by region to make it convenient for people. We still get a lot of people buying it every day. We get a lot of compliments, a lot of emails saying thank you. So it was fun. It was a fun process to do the book.
Yeah, I can imagine in a country like that.
Yes.
You're kind of stuck there because of the corona, but
yes. We've been locked down here since COVID, but there could be worse places on the planet to be. It's beautiful right now, and luckily, they're in the EU, so producers from all over Europe, I've been able to still produce content, write articles, everything, because it's easy to get wine sent over this way. So, actually, just got a shipment from Piemonte today, actually. So, drinking our fair share of tasting a lot of Croatian wines and wines from all over Europe. What's happening in Romania that's new? It's been a year since I've been in Romania. What's new over there?
On wine, you mean?
Yeah, in general, yeah.
Well, I was trying to travel a lot now, but like the circumstances with COVID, it's a problem to visit a lot of wineries. But what I see is that a lot of young winemakers are here now that are interested in the local grape varieties. So
that's great to hear. It's good that they're just getting off the, in Bulgaria, Romania, you get plenty of the same vineyard with Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay.
yeah, but it's difficult to sell like this grape variety that we have in France.
Yes.
People cannot pronounce it, so and they see and okay, I don't know it, I don't buy it. But what they do then, they make a blend with Chardonnay and Vetiasca Alba or something like that, and then people say, oh, Chardonnay with something else, then they try it, and next time they buy the monocepage.
Yeah, so, you're right. It's Croatia though. Luckily, they have tourists, a lot of tourists, and the local market is voracious. So for the most part, good producers can sell everything here.
Yeah. Well, Matthew, I think it's time for dinner here. We are an hour late. I'm smelling the barbecue, and I think this will be very some fish on the barbecue.
Do you have fish on the barbecue right now?
Yeah.
I think this should go well. So cheers. Yeah, in Croatian, we say zhib. I know in Romania over there you say no. Yes, but we say živeli. Norok Jivali.
Norok.
Thank you.
Dante. Nice meeting you again.
Good to see you
Bye.
again.